Dr. Loharan here, and today I'm going to talk to you about 3 tips that'll help you get better sleep tonight. And now, these 3 tips, they also share one theme in common, and that theme is light. So let's get into it with tip number 1. Eliminate all light sources from your room. Now, I know this might be pretty obvious for some of you. If you have a dark room, you're likely going to get sleep that is less disturbed, and you'll have a deeper quality of sleep as well. But I'll bet that for most of you, your room is not pitch black. There's maybe a light that seeps in from underneath the crack in the window. You might have power strips or even TVs in your room that have like that 1 or 2 dots of light. So that's not a pitch black room. So I think we should talk about why light is really important first. So light serves as it's called a Zeitgeber, which is a German word, so I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not, but it means time giver, and it is a synchronizer to the external light-dark cycles. So light is really important for our bodies because when our receptors sense that there is light, it also syncs it up with natural light that's outside, so that we are more in tune with the environmental cycles, and that syncs up with our internal circadian cycles. And you might be surprised to hear that we have light receptors outside of our eyes. In fact, our entire bodies are covered in what's called extraocular photoreceptors, and they're most highly concentrated in the central nervous system, in your brain, and also all over your skin. So, does that little light that's coming off of your TV or off your power strip, is that something that we'll notice? Visually, no, but the sensors in our body and our skin, they will. And it's really important to have a pitch black room because one of the major players in our circadian rhythms is the hormone melatonin. And I know a lot of people have heard of this hormone. It's something that gets secreted from the pineal gland when it gets dark. And it is a major hormone that influences our, not only our sleep cycles, but our temperature cycles, our other hormonal cycles that naturally occur, and also helps regulate some of the other hormones like our mood as well. And melatonin secretion is suppressed by any presence of light. So it is very important for you to have a pitch black room. So I have a couple tips to help you achieve that. I know it is very difficult, but some of these things will help you reduce a lot of light in your room. So first tip, if you do have an electronic device that is giving off like a red light or a charging light or something like that, try to take it out of your room. I know some people love to have the TV in their room, or the power strip has this light that you can't take off, right? So for those things, you can use a piece of electric tape, black electric tape, and you can cover up the light with that. And then I would also recommend getting some blackout curtains if that is something that you're able to make the switch to. If your screens have, or the shades have like cracks in them, or if your curtains are kind of see-through, you want to make sure that any light coming from the street, or even cars passing by at night, you want to make sure that that doesn't affect your sleep. I even travel with electric tape in my bag. I picked this up from my professor in school, and he at first when he said it, I thought he was a little crazy. I was like, okay, like it's fine, but ever since I started taping all the lights, I get much better sleep even when I'm traveling in a hotel, or yeah, I just want to make sure that if I'm already going to be jet lagged, I want to make sure the amount of sleep that I do get is good quality sleep, right? Tip number 2, reduce the amount of screen time that you're exposing yourself to 2 to 3 hours before bed. So screen time would be scrolling on your phone, going on the internet, watching TV, or looking at more videos of Wake Up with Dr. Loharin. Those are things that you shouldn't be doing 2 to 3 hours before bed, because there is a blue light that is emitted from these devices, and that blue wavelength is what triggers the Zeitgebers in your body. So you want to try to reduce the amount of time that you have exposed to this before bed. And I'm going to take it one step farther, right, and talk about reducing the amount of time you have under LED lights, because the LED lights, even though they're energy saving, which I'm all for saving the earth and everything, I really am, but reducing the amount of LED light exposure before bed too, because they're doing the same thing as those blue lights. So what I would recommend is, one, putting your phone, most phones, I have an iPhone, so I can't really speak for all Androids, but I would assume that they have a nighttime mode or something like that, where it eliminates a lot of your blue light exposure, kind of makes your screen like a weird orange color, but it kind of reduces the amount of eye strain you get as well, something that I've noticed. But it definitely cuts out that blue light that you're getting exposed to, because I know it's hard to not be on your phone before bed. Maybe you need to answer a text, maybe you, check an email before bed. I know we're human, we're not supposed to do that, but sometimes you gotta. And then I also use the dark mode, so everything is black, right, instead of white, inverted colors. That helps with the amount of the white light that's coming off of the phone. And the other tip would be, I have these smart lights that you can change the color that's emitted. So after a certain time at night, I only use like the orange light. I think this is the next best thing than using just like a regular LED energy saving light, because I know it's hard. You can't just sit in darkness, when the sun goes down. So that's just some of the things that I do to tweak my amount of light exposure before bed. Tip number 3 is stay consistent. And I know this isn't a directly related to light tip. Actually, my original tip was going to be try to synchronize your sleep patterns with your natural light-dark cycle outside. But that's kind of impossible, I feel like, in this day and age. I would be a hypocrite to say that, because I definitely do not do that. But staying consistent would be say you go to bed at 10 every weeknight, and then you wake up at 7 a.m. for work or whatever. So you should keep that as a consistent pattern even through the weekend. And I know that is pretty difficult, but especially because, you go out on the weekends or, have a life. But it's better, especially if you're starting to retrain your sleep patterns, to try to get on a consistent cycle, because as I mentioned earlier, your circadian rhythms are on this, most people are around a 24-hour cycle. Some people are a little bit longer than that, but those are naturally occurring cycles that happen in your body. So you want to try to, in the retraining process, you want to try to have a consistent cycle, because that'll help you get into a better rhythm of training your body when to sleep, when to wake up, and things like that. Well, that's all I've got for you today on sleep and tricks to help you get a better sleep tonight. And just a quick recap, if you don't remember anything we just talked about, eliminate all of the light that you're exposed to before bed, okay? And this is a major important thing because you want to make sure that melatonin gets secreted as much as possible so that your internal circadian rhythms can get balanced and that you can wake up feeling more refreshed and ready to go for your next day. What sorts of tips do you have to get to sleep? Let me know in the comments below, and I will try to implement some of them and see how they go for me. As always, if any of this stuff was valuable to you, please share it with your friends and family, especially those who have some trouble sleeping, or maybe you know someone who has some insomnia. These are some quick and easy tips that you can share with them so that they can try to get a better sleep tonight. All right, and as always, I will be back next week with a new episode on Wake Up with Dr. Loharan.